Hello everyone. So I think that I'm probably going to get a lot of negative feedback about this, but one thing that I find really important is focusing on things that are plausible and logical and more likely to happen, as opposed to wasting our energy on things that are just a false flag or distraction. And so Elenin, in my personal opinion, is a false flag or even just misinformation, something spread that is just totally not connected to what's actually happening right now. So what I did was use the USGS site. I know that it's not always the most credible because they do change them and delete them. Most of the time, though, I have realized that 6.0 or greater, they can't totally delete a lot of the time except for the 7.0 or 7.4 in Japan, but people notice because they feel them. And so this is the most accurate archive that I could find. So I did use the USGS, even though it is not always 100% accurate and can be changed. It is probably our most accurate archive that we can use. If you know of a better one, let me know and I'll go ahead and do all these numbers again. So one thing that I'm not going to argue is that we are definitely having an uptick in earthquake activity now. My debate is that I don't think it's Elenin that's causing it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is show you some numbers that I came up with here. These can all be verified. You can look up these numbers yourself, do the math yourself, and okay, so let's start. So the first numbers I did were prior to, even though Elenin was just discovered in 2010, they're saying that starting in 2008, they had interference from it. And so I did kind of a pre-Elenin timeline and a post-Elenin timeline. I did from January 1st, 2000 to December 31st, 2007. And in this time frame, I searched 6.0 or greater, which is the average of earthquakes that they're saying is caused by Elenin. I also did 8.0 or greater, which are the really big ones that we're seeing here. So, back here. So we find 1,250 6.0 or greater earthquakes prior to Elenin in the year starting 2000. So that would make 2,555 days total if there aren't any leap years or anything like that. So this is just, again, a rough estimate, but educated estimate. And so we're going to take 1,250 earthquakes divided by 2,555 days. And this equals 0.5 a day, or 178.6 a year of 6.0 or greater earthquakes. So that's the statistic prior to Elenin being in our orbit, or us thinking that it makes a difference. Now I searched January 1st, 2008 to August 5th, today, 2011, and I found 661 6.0 or greater earthquakes. That is 1,312 days total. So we divide 661 earthquakes by 1,312 days, and that equals 0.5 a day, again, the same as what we saw pre-Elenin, or 183.9 a year of 6.0 or greater. And if we look up here, that's only about 4 more average a year than what we did have before. Okay, so now let's do 8.0 or graters. Pre-Elenin, we had 12 8.0 or graters. So we take the 12 divided by 2,555 days, and we get 0.01 a day, or 3.65 a year of 8.0 or greater, and that's pre-Elenin. Post-Elenin, 3 8.0 or greater earthquakes. 3 earthquakes divided by 1,312 days equals 0.002 a day, or 0.8 a year of 8.0 or greater. So if we're looking at this math here, we're actually seeing that 0.8 and up is going down since Elenin has come into orbit. So that's something to think about. I can't say that anything that I'm saying is going to be totally right because I don't know, but this is just something to put out there for you guys. So then I actually went through and did individual months that all of these have happened in. All of these have happened in only a few months, most of them in March and February. So I did all of these months. Taking the odds of each number of earthquakes in any given year of February, we come up with an average of 12.6 per February. And we divide this by 28 days, which sometimes is not, and we equal a 0.45 chance of earthquake on any given day in February. So without Elenin, we already have a 45% chance of earthquake over 6.0, which is, it's not high, but it's not extraordinarily low and unheard of either. So then March, we come up with 13.5 average earthquakes of 6.0 or greater during March, divided by the 31 days, we get 0.44, which is again 44%. Not super high, but not low either, almost half. Here in August, we get 43%, almost half, almost a 50-50 chance of having one any day in that month. Here we have 0.52 in September, and that gives us a 52% chance, which is more than half of a chance of getting an earthquake of 6.0 or greater. Let's go back to February. Okay, so what we're seeing is most of them were in February, which I don't find that far-fetched considering we have a 45% chance, and here a 44% chance in March where a lot of them occurred as well. I don't really find that out of the ordinary. So then we're down to August, oh, I already did that one, sorry. So now we're down to May, 41% chance, and January has a 53% chance. So in doing all of this math, it shows that the statistics during the times that Elenin happen and are aligned with us are not extreme in comparison with what we've actually already seen in the Earth. Moving on, one thing that really makes me kind of debunk Elenin is the fact that we already have had a comet that was much larger and closer to the Earth than Elenin. Not only that, but there have been at least 16 other comets discovered in 2010 that could come closer to Earth than Elenin, but have not been documented, have not been really publicized as much as Elenin. And I really think that it's because of the name. It's the way that he named the comet. Obviously, we know, extinction level event. But someone actually brought something up that was very interesting to me the other day, because I, like I said, believe this is a false flag. Look at this. Elenin, 11, 9. And so we have exactly like 9/11, the huge false flag operation. 11 and 9. All you have to do is add a few extra letters, and this is what we have. Anyways, so the comet I'm talking about is C2006 P1, also known as Comet McNaught, also known as the Great Comet of 2007. And so this is actually the most amazing picture. This comet has come really close to the Earth, and it's one of the biggest ones that they've ever measured. And so I'll show you the math that I did for this. The Great Comet of 2007 had a nucleus of 25 kilometers, while Elenin is only estimated to have about 3.4 kilometer nucleus. The tail of the Great Comet was 224 million kilometers. The tail of Elenin at the current time, if you know a different number, is 900,000 kilometers. If you know a different number, let me know. The coma, I couldn't find a site that had the kilometers of the Great Comet. So I just found one that said it was 16 inches in the telescope. If you know how to make this into kilometers, make the conversion from 16 inches into actual kilometers that the tail would be, that would be great, because I can't do that number because I couldn't find accurate numbers. And so this shows us that the comet of 2007 had a nucleus, that was 21 kilometers larger than Elenin. It also had a tail that was 223,100,000 kilometers longer than Elenin. Also, we're going based off of distance. The distance of the Great Comet of 2007 was 0.17 AU, or 25,431,638 kilometers. The distance, this is from the Earth by the way, of Elenin from the Earth at the closest that they think, same with Great Comet, is going to be 0.15 to 0.24 AU. And I really give it the benefit right here because a lot of sites are closer to 0.24 on October 16th when they say it will happen. but I gave it the benefit and kind of made an average. So that would either be these numbers. I don't need to read them, you can read them. But it would average a mean of 29,171,584.8 kilometers, which is the number that I used against this distance. And so this means that Elenin, when it comes its closest, we already know that it's smaller than the Great Comet of 2007, and so when it comes its closest to Earth, it's still going to be 3,739,946.8 kilometers further away than this giant comet was to us. And so I guess that's really all I have for you today. If you guys want this information, I will post it underneath in the description, and I'm not really trying to make anyone upset. I just want everyone to be safe, and so I want everyone to focus on things that are actual possibilities for disaster as opposed to things that are not. I also, the brown dwarf theory, I totally do not believe that, even slightly. I know that brown dwarfs do not give off light, but they reflect light. And not only that, the orbit patterns of every single one of our planets and stars in our atmosphere would be greatly, greatly affected by something as big as what they say Elenin would be if it was a brown dwarf. Not only that, but I actually know quite a few people, professionals and amateurs, that are in the astronomy field, and none of them are even close to worried about what will happen. And you really have to give credit to the amateur astronomers, because 99% of the time they are the ones finding the comets. And so if there was something dangerous about Elenin, somebody mentioned that there was a chat the other day with a professional astronomer, and a bunch of amateur astronomers were just asking about the size and tail and things like that about Elenin. None of them were concerned about it hitting the Earth, and those are people that know much better than, I'd say, the average person like you or I. So again, thanks for watching, and it's something to think about. Maybe it is possible, but I think solar flares or HAARP type technology is more possible. Alright, thank you guys.